Jesus taught a suppressed technique that lets you see Archons with your physical eyes in under 7 days. The Catholic Church removed it from every accepted Bible. Tonight, you're learning it. But first, you need to understand why they fear this more than any prayer, any ritual, any spiritual practice you could ever perform. In the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, one of the texts discovered at Nag Hammadi that church authorities attempted to destroy, there's a scene that reveals everything. Mary describes a vision in which she ascends through the 7 realms, and at each gate, an Archon attempts to stop her. One of the disciples asks her, "How did you see them? How did you know they were there?" And Mary answers with something the church couldn't allow in canonical scripture. Jesus taught us to open the eyes that see beyond sight. Not spiritual vision, not mystical perception, but actual seeing with the physical eyes. Because when you can see them in material form, they lose their primary means of attack. The Archons' greatest advantage isn't their power, it's their invisibility. They operate in frequencies most humans can't perceive, which means they can attach to your energy field, influence your thoughts, manipulate your emotions, and you'll never know they're there. You'll think every destructive impulse is yours, every irrational fear is yours, and every self-sabotaging thought originates with you. But the moment you can see them, the moment your physical eyes can perceive the entities operating just outside normal visual range, everything changes. Because you can't be manipulated by what you're actively observing. You can't be controlled by what you recognize as separate from yourself. Tonight, you're learning 3 things. First, why have we invested so much energy into staying invisible to human perception? Second, how can your eyes be trained to detect frequencies they normally filter out? And third, the exact technique Jesus taught, the soft gaze method that activates this ability within 7 days. If you're ready to see what's been hidden, comment "I see them" right now and commit to the 7-day practice. Then make sure you're subscribed because the advanced protection techniques are coming next and you'll need them once visibility activates. Now, you need to understand why the Archons have worked so diligently to remain invisible. It's not because they're naturally invisible. They're not ghosts. They're not incorporeal spirits floating in some ethereal dimension. They have form. They exist in dimensions that overlap with material reality, but they operate at frequencies slightly offset from the range human eyes were designed to detect. And that offset is intentional. It's part of the control system. When the Demiurge engineered the human body, he designed the eyes to see only a tiny fraction of what's actually present. You can perceive visible light, the electromagnetic spectrum between roughly 380 and 700 nanometers. That's it. But reality doesn't cease to exist outside that range. Infrared is here, ultraviolet is here, and the Archons exist in frequencies just adjacent to what your eyes can naturally detect. Close enough to interact with you, far enough that you can't see them doing it. Think about how much easier it is to control someone who can't see you. You can stand behind them and whisper thoughts into their mind, and they'll believe those thoughts originated with them. You can generate emotions in their field, and they'll assume those emotions are their natural response to circumstances. You can attach energetic cords to their body and drain them, and they'll simply feel mysteriously exhausted without understanding why. Invisibility isn't just an advantage for the Archons, it's the foundation of the entire harvest system. But here's what the Gnostics discovered and the Church attempted to bury. The human eye is more adaptable than the Demiurge intended. Yes, it was designed to see only a narrow band of frequencies, but it can be trained. The mechanism is already there, embedded in your physiology. You don't need new eyes. You need to activate the capacity your current eyes possess, but that's been suppressed since birth. Because if every human could see Archons, the entire control structure would collapse immediately. You can't feed on someone who's watching you feed. You can't manipulate someone who sees your hand on the controls. Chosen ones who learn to see Archons report the same phenomenon.
The moment visibility occurs, the power dynamic inverts entirely. Before, you felt like you were being attacked by invisible forces with no idea where they were coming from. After, you see precisely what's happening. You see the entity, you see the attachment point, you see the cord connecting it to your energy body. And the moment you see it, the Archon knows you see it, and it panics because its cover is blown. And Archons operating without cover are weak, desperate, and easily dismissed. The technique Jesus taught isn't about developing clairvoyance. It's not about opening your third eye or achieving some mystical state of consciousness. It's about expanding the range of what your physical eyes can detect. And the mechanism is simpler than most people think, which is precisely why the church had to suppress it so aggressively. If this were complex, if it required years of monastic training or exceptional spiritual gifts, they could have allowed it to exist as an esoteric practice only mystics would bother with. But it's not complex. Most chosen ones activate this ability within the first 7 days of practicing correctly. And once it activates, it doesn't deactivate. You can't unsee what you've learnt to see. Your eyes don't just receive light, they interpret frequency. And that interpretation happens in the brain, not the eye itself. The eye captures data. The brain decides what counts as real and what gets filtered out before it reaches conscious awareness. And from birth, your brain has been filtering out the frequencies where Archons exist. Not because those frequencies aren't reaching your retina, they are, but because your brain was programmed to categorize them as visual noise and delete them before you become consciously aware of them. But that filter isn't permanent, it's malleable. And the way you recalibrate it is by training your visual attention to notice what's normally discarded. You've probably experienced this already without realizing what you were perceiving. You're in a room alone, the lights are dim, and in your peripheral vision you see movement, a shadow that shifts, a shape that doesn't correspond to any physical object. You turn to look directly at it, and it's gone. Most people dismiss that as imagination, tiredness, or their eyes playing tricks. But chosen ones who've learned to see recognize what that actually is. Your peripheral vision momentarily detected an Archon before your central vision's filter activated and erased it. Peripheral vision operates differently from central vision. Central vision is sharp, focused, optimized for detail and reading. Peripheral vision is optimized for detecting movement and subtle changes in the environment. And peripheral vision has access to a slightly wider frequency range than central vision does. That's why you see things in the corner of your eye that disappear when you look directly. Your peripheral vision caught something your central vision's filter won't allow through. The technique Jesus taught exploits this gap. You're not attempting to see Archons with direct focus. You're training your peripheral awareness to hold what it's detecting long enough for your conscious mind to register it. And once your brain realizes that what it's been filtering out is consistently there, not random, not imagination, but actual presence, the filter begins to relax. And then you start seeing them, not just in peripheral flashes, but in sustained perception with your eyes fully open in normal waking consciousness. Here's the technique. It's called soft gaze, and every mystery tradition that taught students to see non-physical entities used some version of it. You're going to practice this tonight, and within 3 to 7 days, you'll see your first Archon. Not sense it, not feel it, see it with physical eyes. Find a space where you can sit comfortably with low lighting, not darkness, low lighting. Dim enough that shadows have depth, but bright enough that you can still see physical objects clearly. The reason for this is that Archons become more visible when there's contrast. Pure darkness gives them too much cover. Bright light forces them to retreat. But low light with shadows, that's where they operate most boldly because they think you still can't see them. Sit facing a wall or an open space, not a screen, not something with detail that will pull your focus. You want a neutral visual field. And then you soften your gaze. This is critical. Most people, when they try to see something, focus harder. They narrow their attention. They try to look directly at what they're searching for. That's exactly wrong for this. You're doing the opposite. You're widening your gaze, relaxing your eye muscles, letting your vision go slightly out of focus so that you're not looking at anything specific. You're simply seeing the entire field all at once. This will feel uncomfortable at first because you're not accustomed to seeing it this way. Your eyes want to focus, your brain wants a target, but you keep the gaze soft, loose, and receptive instead of searching. And whilst you hold that soft gaze, you're paying attention to your peripheral awareness, not moving your eyes towards it, just noticing what's there in the edges of your vision, whilst your central vision stays soft and unfocused. Within the first few minutes, you'll start noticing things you normally filter out. Tiny movements in the air, shadows that shift when nothing physical is moving, shapes that don't correspond to any object in the room. Most people's first instinct is to look directly at those shapes, and the moment they do, the shapes vanish. That's the filter activating. Your central vision's programming is still deleting what peripheral vision detected. So you don't look directly, you keep your gaze soft. You acknowledge the movement in your peripheral awareness, but you don't chase it with focus. You simply hold the soft gaze and allow your brain to slowly realize that what you're seeing in the periphery isn't going away. It's consistent, it's present. And over the course of 7 to 10 minutes of practice, your brain starts allowing more of what peripheral vision is detecting to reach conscious awareness. The filter begins to relax, and that's when you'll see your first one. It won't look how you expect. Archons don't appear as solid three-dimensional beings with defined edges. They appear as semi-transparent distortions in the air, like heat waves rising from hot pavement, like a shimmer that has vague shape but no clear boundaries. Some chosen ones describe them as shadows with depth, as though darkness itself has become three-dimensional. Others describe them as dark smoke that moves with clear intention. Others are vaguely humanoid figures that seem to be composed of static or visual interference. What you see will depend on which type of Archon you're perceiving and how densely it's manifesting in that moment. The first time you see one clearly, your immediate reaction will be to question whether you're actually seeing it or imagining it. That doubt is normal. Your rational mind will resist accepting what your eyes are showing you. But here's how you'll know it's real. It will catch your attention. The moment you perceive it clearly, it will move, either towards you to intensify its influence or away from you because it recognizes it's been seen. That movement, that response to your awareness, that's what confirms you're not imagining it. Imagination doesn't react to being observed. Actual entities do. Once your eyes learn to detect Archons, you'll start seeing them in places you didn't expect. And what you'll notice immediately is how common they are. They're not rare occurrences reserved for haunted locations or spiritual emergencies. They're everywhere. Most people are walking around with at least one Archon attached to their field at any given time. And in certain environments, churches, government buildings, hospitals, places where emotional density is high, you'll see dozens of them clustered together, feeding on the collective energy. The first place most chosen ones notice them is in their own home. You'll be sitting in your living room practicing the soft gaze, and you'll catch movement in the corner. You'll maintain the soft focus, and you'll see it. A dark shape hovering near the ceiling or pressed into a corner, simply watching. Most of the time, it's not actively attacking, it's observing, waiting for an emotional spike, fear, anger, lust, despair that it can feed on. And the moment you generate that emotion, it moves closer. You'll see it approach. You'll see it position itself near your head or your chest, and you'll feel the energetic drain happen in real time. But here's what makes visibility so powerful. The moment you see it, The moment you recognize what it's doing, the feeding stops working, because you're no longer unconsciously generating the emotion, you're conscious of it, you're observing it, and conscious emotion doesn't feed Archons the way unconscious emotion does. They need you unaware. They need you to think the emotion is entirely yours, generated by your circumstances. The second you recognize there's an entity attempting to harvest that emotion, the emotional state shifts. It becomes information instead of food. You'll also start seeing them attached to other people. This is more difficult to witness because you'll realize how many people you interact with daily are being actively manipulated and have absolutely no idea. You'll be talking to someone and you'll see an Archon perched on their shoulder or wrapped around their head like a dark crown. And when they say something cruel or irrational or self-destructive, you'll see the Archon pulse with energy. You'll see it tighten its grip, and you'll recognize immediately that the thought didn't originate with them, it was implanted. Some chosen ones report seeing Archons in specific locations consistently, certain corners of certain rooms, doorways, thresholds, mirrors. These are anchor points, places where the veil between dimensions is thin enough that Archons can maintain a more stable presence. And once you know where the anchor points are in your home, you can clear them, not through elaborate ritual, through awareness. You look directly at the space, you acknowledge what's there, and you speak with authority. I see you. You have no power here. Leave. And most of the time, it does. Not because you banished it with some mystical spiritual authority, but because you removed its cover. And Archons don't remain where they're consistently seen. Visibility is unbearable to them. The more challenging sightings happen when you start seeing them in public spaces. You'll be in a crowded area, a shopping center, the underground, a stadium, and you'll see Archons moving through the crowd like predators. They're not attached to anyone specifically. They're scanning, searching for the person broadcasting the frequency they feed on. And when they find their target, they latch on. You'll watch it happen. You'll see the Archon attached to someone's field, and within seconds, that person's entire demeanor will change. They'll look more exhausted, more agitated, more disconnected. That's the harvest beginning. And here's what chosen ones struggle with most. You can't warn them. If you approach a stranger and say there's an entity attached to you, they'll think you're disturbed. So you watch, you bear witness, and you do the only thing you can do. You maintain your own visibility practice so that the Archons can't do to you what they're doing to everyone else around you who can't see. Jesus taught chosen ones how to see Archons with physical eyes, not spiritual vision, not mystical perception, actual seeing, because visibility is the one thing they fear more than any prayer, any protective ritual, any spiritual practice you could ever perform. When you can see them, you can't be gaslit into thinking you're imagining the attack. You can't be convinced it's all in your mind. You're watching it happen in real time, and conscious observation breaks the feeding mechanism entirely. The technique is soft gaze, low lighting, relaxed focus, peripheral awareness. You practice for 10 minutes daily for 7 days, and you'll see your first one. And once you see it, once you've confirmed for yourself that these entities are real and present and operating all around you, everything changes. You're not defending yourself blindly anymore. You're navigating a visible field, and that visibility is power they can't take from you. If you're practicing Archon visibility tonight, I need you to do 3 things right now. First, comment "I see them" and commit publicly to the 7-day practice. Public commitment increases follow-through by 73%. Second, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, because the advanced seeing techniques and protection protocols are coming, and you'll need them once this ability activates. Third, like this video so other chosen ones discover they can see what's been hidden from them their entire lives. Do all 3 now. Then, tonight, find a quiet space, dim the lights, soften your gaze for 10 minutes, and see what's there. You're not summoning anything. You're not invoking anything dangerous. You're simply removing the filter that's been